I checked into a motel for a quick overnight stay until I realized the room had no way out. It was late, and I was exhausted from hours on the road. When I saw the flickering neon sign of a motel, I decided to stop for the night. The place was run down, but I didn't care. I just needed a bed to sleep in. The clerk at the front desk barely looked up as he handed me the key to room 13, his expression unreadable. The room was small and dingy, the air stale, the walls covered in peeling wallpaper. I dropped my bag on the floor and collapsed onto the bed, too tired to even turn on the TV. I just wanted to sleep and get back on the road in the morning. But as soon as I closed my eyes, I felt a strange unease, a sense that something wasn't right. I got up to check the door, just to make sure it was locked. That's when I noticed it. The door was gone. In its place was a solid wall, the same peeling wallpaper covering where the door had been. Panic set in as I looked around the room. The windows were gone too, replaced by blank walls. There was no way out. I pounded on the walls, screaming for help, but there was no response. The room seemed to grow smaller, the air thicker, making it hard to breathe. I tried to remember how I got here, but my memories were hazy, like a dream I couldn't quite grasp. The more I thought about it, the more confused I became. Hours passed, or maybe it was days. I couldn't tell. Time didn't seem to exist in that room. The walls started closing in, the ceiling lowering, as if the room itself was trying to crush me. My phone had no signal, and the TV only showed static, the sound distorted and grating. The lights flickered, casting strange shadows that seemed to move on their own. The panic turned to desperation as I realized I was trapped, with no way out, no one coming to help. The room was a prison, and I was its only occupant. I started to hear voices, whispers that came from the walls, telling me to give up, to accept my fate. The walls were closing in, the air was running out, and I was losing my mind. When I came to, I was lying on the bed. I blinked and laughed at myself. That was one fucked up nightmare. I sat up suddenly and looked to where the door should be. I let out a sigh when I saw it there and smiled. I was about to get up to leave when the TV blinked on. It was the news. A story of how some kids found my car abandoned in the motel parking lot, but there was no trace of me. The room I checked into was empty, the door locked from the inside. The motel clerk on the screen doesn't remember checking me in. I ran to the door, opened it, and ran outside. But I wasn't outside. I was back in room 13.
The clerk turned from the news cameras, walking back to his office, and smiled. Knowing room 13 is just an empty room now, a room with no exit.